What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's having a great day today. So today's video, we're going to be talking about cars that I believe are going to be the next big thing in the scene. Now, these cars are obviously cars that are being looked down on right now, or have been built, but there's not a lot of them. And these are going to be new cars, so don't expect me to be talking about cars like, I don't know, the Geo Metro in this video. I'm going to be talking about cars that are coming out, that have come in the last couple of years, that I think that are being looked down on right now, but are going to be shoehorned into the scene very soon and be huge names. So I've got a couple of cars I'm going to list here. Nothing crazy. This video hopefully won't be too long in this section. My second take of this video, because the first take was almost 30 minutes. So we're going to get started right away with a truck, and that is the new Ford Ranger that came out just a couple years ago for the 2019 model year, I believe. Now, these trucks are already proving themselves in terms of power department due to the fact the engines it's the 2.3 EcoBoost, which has already been proven to be really, really good in both the RS and the Mustang EcoBoost compared to the 10-speed that is found in stuff like the Mustang. So, I mean, this is just a combination for a mini truck to be stupid fast. And I really think that these things are going to be really cranked up in terms of power here soon. Once people start really figuring out how the 2.3 ticks in the Ranger, see what's different between them and the RS motor. Because if you didn't know, the RS motor and the EcoBoost motor are slightly different. So who knows, maybe it's the same thing here, or maybe it's the exact same as the Mustang's engine. So who knows, we might see just what all works between all three of those 2.3 options. I should say two, because one's not, on sale anymore, unfortunately. Thanks, Ford. But anyway, the new Ranger has already gotten quite a bit of love in the aftermarket scene. I haven't really seen a whole lot of crazy power adders. I've seen stuff like the iDrive system, which is meant to help with the electronic throttles. I've seen stuff like off-road stuff. I've seen all that kind of stuff. I haven't really seen too many street truck builds yet of these new Rangers, so we'll have to see what all's going on with that regarded. Maybe we'll have some crazy street truck Rangers coming soon, because you guys know that's what I'm into. I love the street trucks. If I got one, that's exactly what I do. I mean, that trunk would be slammed in the first week I had one. But anyway, these trucks have already been kind of starting to creep their way into the mainstream. So they're probably the closest to breaking through, I guess is the proper word here. Is that these trucks are probably the closest out of this entire list to breaking through into the scene. Where people are just like, yeah, I don't want, this old truck. I want the new Ranger, so because it can do this, this, and this, and it has this, this, and this. I feel like that's going to happen not too far from now. I feel like the new Ranger has already set a very good mark on the community, and I feel like that's probably not going to be too much longer, and these things are going to be breaking through completely, and you're going to start seeing everyone building these in terms of power, like fast drag Rangers, to off-road monsters, to street trucks, like what I would do. I don't really see the Ranger sitting around in this kind of weird state that it's kind of in right now, where it's like some people are building them, and they're catching traction, but they're not, breaking through yet. Lots of people are having them now and enjoying them. They're still great trucks, and I love them to death, and I would love to get one. It's my favorite mini truck that's on sale right now. Obviously, bias included. I think it's going to be great, and I feel like that it won't be too long. These trucks are really breaking mainstream. So the next one I'm talking about is one I'm very passionate about, because I really think it's the best looking hatchback that's on sale today, and that is the Corolla hatch. Believe it or not, I really love these cars. I may be an enthusiast at heart, and love everything from the GTO to the Mustang to the cars like, I don't know, like the S2000 and stuff like that. But I really like the Corolla hatch. I think out of all the economy cars that are on sale right now, it's not only the best looking, it's got really good tech, and it's really cheap. And my favorite part is what is available on it that not a lot of cars have anymore, and that's a manual. I hate joking around about that, even though it's really true that manuals are dying in cars, and that this is one of the only few economy cars that comes with it, but not minus another car I'm going to talk about in a minute. But the Corolla hatch is already starting to gain traction as well, much like the Ranger has already, but not quite as much. It was really popularized when Super Street did a build for SEMA last year on a red Corolla hatch. And that was where everyone's like, wow, these things actually can look really, really good and be built out really well. So now, obviously, they're taking off a little bit more because of that, some of the exposure they've gotten. Everyone's talking about how great of a driver these cars are and how great value they are. And in terms of the enthusiast side, though, while they look great and they can, I bet with some air suspension and some T's, RPF1s, Cosmos, all that kind of stuff, these cars could really look great. The power side of things is where these cars kind of falter. Sure, there are exhaust setups. I'm pretty sure there are already intakes for these cars available. But in terms of power adders, I haven't seen anyone run nitrous on these cars. Superchargers and turbos, I don't believe exist just yet. If there is, I think they're really just in the early testing phases. I don't really know if they're really starting to become popular yet on these cars. And I feel like that's what really will push the Corolla into the mainstream, is if they can find a proper turbo setup for these cars. Something that can make gobs of power out of these cars, or crack the code in making high horsepower to these cars. because I feel like they have the potential. They've literally got a perfect storm of everything ready to go for them. Good looks, cheap price, good equipment, good tech, good daily driver practicality, just it's a perfect storm. And I feel like that if they can just crack the code on how to make power out of these cars, it's going to be where this car shoots up in terms of, seeing these in the community a lot more. This could be the new SRT4, the new Speed 3. This could be the new ST on our hands we have right now. We just have to figure it out. Obviously, there have been lots of rumors about Toyota bringing a GR version of this over that has the 268 horsepower 3-cylinder out of the Yaris GR, which we don't get here, of course, over to the States. And that would be awesome. I really like that. There's been lots of rumors about that because originally I saw that where Toyota was trying to bring the Yaris over, and there was lots of people just like, why don't y'all just stick it in the Corolla? I literally saw a Twitter post where it was a guy, Toyota USA, was tweeting about, hey, what would the community think if we brought the GR Yaris over? And someone's like, I don't really care about the Yaris, but can we get it in a Corolla? And Toyota was like, I'll send this up the chain. So, I mean, who knows? That might have been foreshadowing that we might be getting a GR Corolla here soon. Because it's obvious people want it. People want that high horsepower Corolla. High for, 3-cylinder, obviously. So who knows, maybe in the next year or two we might have a very, the new Speed 3 of sorts. A car a front-wheel drive hatchback that makes almost like like a little round 270 wheel, or 270 crank, I should say, not wheel. And look pretty good. I feel like that's probably where a GR Corolla would be. And that's where I feel like it's going to really push, is once these cars can start making power. And I feel like that a GR Corolla or a really good turbo setup, or both, would be perfect for the Corolla to shoot it up in the mainstream. And that's why I think it'll be one of the next big things, is because I feel like that code's going to be cracked very soon. So the next car I'm going to talk about is another one of the economy cars that are, inexpensive, good equipment, good tech, all that kind of good stuff. But one that actually beats the Corolla in gas mileage, and that's the Mazda 3. Now, the Mazda 3's been, a mainstream build for a long time. People built the Speed 3, obviously, which was a very popular platform. I mean, I have a friend that has one, for crying out loud. He loved the car so much as just looking at them and seeing how fast they actually were, and that he bought one. And, everyone loves the Speed 3, so I feel like that, obviously it made the 3's a whole platform popular. The new generation, since the Speed 3's been gone, it hasn't seen the same limelight, even though, in my opinion, this might tick some people off, I feel like the new generation 3 is better looking than both of the previous generations of 3 we've had, including the Speed 3 trims. I love the Speed 3 to death, don't get me wrong, but the new 3 looks fantastic, and while it's not in the same tier as the Corolla, I feel like it's under the Corolla in terms of good-looking new hatchbacks. I feel like the Mazda 3 is a great platform choice in terms of aesthetics. I mean, these cars are already being modified, much like the Corolla has. And I feel like that's just, it's going to get better as time goes on. And there's been lots of rumors as well about Mazda bringing back the Speed 3. And I feel like literally if they did that and Toyota brought a GR Corolla, it'd be the perfect storm for competition for the Type R. Because right now the Type R is kind of got no competition other than like the STI. That's really it. That's like the only thing I can think of. The STI, the Civic Type R has competition with is the STI, because there's not really any other hot hatch or turbo 4-cylinder cars on the market right now that are in the same price gap, price bracket as the Type R. So I feel like a GR Corolla and a new Speed 3 would be perfect to really mount some competition on Honda, to be like, okay, either we need to drop our prices or we really need to start cranking out these cars. I mean, obviously they're taking things very seriously over in Europe, where like the Megane RS is around and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, back on the 3. Obviously, with the Speed 3 being gone, it makes it really hard to want to mod a new Mazda 3, because people will probably just go and buy older Speed 3s, because it's just, it makes sense for enthusiasts to let it want a Mazda 3. If want to go fast, they'll buy the old Speed 3, because the new one, and its ridiculously high compression, makes boosting it pretty hard. And that's where I'm going to get into one of my big ideas why this car isn't mainstream yet, and that's power. Because no one can really make power out of a car that has a stupid high compression ratio like this. They're going to need a really thick head gasket to get that to work. But the new 3 looks great. It's got lots of cosmetic, potential. I mean, that Blue reviewed one that looked pretty good. And I think that stuff like that will probably start becoming more common. We'll start seeing a lot more 3s being modified this way. I keep almost wanting to say Speed 3s, but who knows? I feel like that what's really going to push it is when Mazda comes out with another Speed 3. Because I've noticed a lot more recently that, generations where the Speed 3 was in production, like say 07, 08, the 2.3S, which is the naturally aspirated version of the Speed 3, is a little bit different. It's not really a true just, Speed 3 with the turbo lopped off of it, but, lots of stuff is similar between the two cars. Those got pretty popular after the Speed 3 came out, and I feel like that's going to be a kind of similar situation where if the Speed 3 came out, the normal 3 would also kind of get some love as well. So that's kind of my theory on the 3. I feel like that if they could either figure out some power or, you know, a new Speed 3 comes out, that's going to be what really pushes the 3 forward. Because I feel like it's in a really good spot right now where people are starting to, you know, give them a chance. But I feel like that they're going to need a really big push to get into mainstream stuff. We'll see them, you know, in show booths all over the place. And, you know, people really going nuts with these cars. Now we're going to go back to Toyota for a second here on the TRD Camry, which is a car that, you know, I didn't really expect to be talking about in a car that I was in a video where I'd be talking about what I think the community is going to love in a couple years. But the Camry TRD has really proven itself. While on paper it's not much better than a standard Camry XSE, the V6 is, you know, not tuned any different. The only things that are different is ground effects and, you know, interior trim and suspension tuning and exhaust. That's like the only things I can think of that I can remember that are different between like an XSE and the TRD. But the TRD looks fantastic. I believe the Camry is another one of the great looking car. Toyota's design team has really killed it last few years. The Mark V looks fantastic. I love how the Mark V looks. The Camry TRD looks fantastic. Heck, the base Camry looks good. Hayden's dad actually has one right now, a 2019, I believe, and it looks great. Or 2018, one of the two. And it looks fantastic. The TRD is just like a step above, though, and I think the TRD is like one of the better looking Camrys. I could sure see these cars really coming up in mainstream. You know, again, same reason. They look fantastic, and I want to bet with some good wheels and suspension, all that kind of stuff, they look fantastic. They look even better. But power is going to be where a lot of people are going to, you know, hold back. A lot of people want to build power builds, not just show builds. I mean, show builds are becoming more and more popular as time goes on, which is great because having diversity in the car community is what makes the car community the car community. But a lot of people want to build power builds, and that's why cars like the Camry and the Corolla and the Standard 3 and all that stuff are not very popular. And I feel like, and you know, that's why cars like the Neon SRT4, the Speed 3, the Evo, all that stuff became really popular. They're really strong out of the box and they have lots of potential. And not a lot of people are looking into what potential could be had in the Camry. And I feel like that's kind of a disappointment because I feel like if people really started trying to crack these things open and trying to see what these things were made of, they could make some really fast Camrys. Sure, the Camry has had, you know, its time in the community's eye. Lots of people have modified the older Camrys. I haven't seen a whole lot in the new ones just yet. So I'm curious to see what will happen with that and see how crazy these cars get in the next couple of years. I feel like the TRD Camry is well on its way to being a car that will be considered, you know, in the community. I feel like lots of people in the community will be like, yeah, well, what might throw the TRD in their shopping list of cars and the list of cars they want to buy when they're looking to get their next project that's new, at least. So the last car I'm going to talk about today is the Honda Accord. And sure, the Accord's been in the mainstream for a while, especially the older ones with the C-Series engine, which is very, you know, very familiar to a lot of people with the NSX. They had the single-cam version of the F-Series engine for a while, which you guys know. The F-Series was evolved into what is now well known for being in the S2000. The later gens had the J-Series, which proved to be a really good V6 engine. The K-Series, which everyone knows and loves in the Honda community. I mean, these cars, the Accord has had, you know, the best of both worlds, you know, the best of the engine platforms that Honda's had for a very long time. Outside of, you know, obviously, you know, the F20C and the F22C, because that's like just that much better than the majority of the engines that the Accord has had, in my opinion. As you guys can tell, I'm a bit of an S2000 fanboy. Thanks, Aiden. You ruined me. The Accord, you know, was in mainstream for a long time. The old 90s ones were really popular. The mid-2000s one, which is what, ironically enough, I looked at an 01 before I got the truck, and then when I was actually thinking about getting rid of the truck a couple years ago, I looked at an 07. So, I mean, I almost wound up in an Accord twice. Ironically, both red coupes that were auto. But anyway, the new Accord isn't seeing quite as much look in the mainstream right now. I mean, they've got a lot of great things going for them. A manual trans, a really good 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder. I don't know for sure if the V6 is still out. I think it's still there, obviously. But I know you can't get a manual with the V6 anymore, which is kind of disappointing. You used to be able to get a three pedal with a V6, and it was quite the combination. Which you can't anymore, it looks like, which is kind of sad. But the new Accord looks great. In my opinion, while the Camry looks fantastic when it comes to new sedans, while the Corolla dominates in the hatchback world, the Accord dominates in the sedan world right now. There's lots of great looking sedans in the market right now because that's where, you know, even though they're dying off as you know, as a breed in the car world, they're still churning out really good looking sedans. So I'm curious to see just how Honda takes the Accord, the new Accord, if they're going to, you know, or the community takes the Accord now, because I don't know if it's going to get the same kind of love that previous generations of the Accord got. I feel like, you know, obviously people are building these cars. I've seen a couple of built new Accords. but they haven't hit the same kind of level as the previous generations did with the K series or prior. So who knows? Maybe people are going to start building these things and they're going to go nuts in the next couple of years with crazy setups. So I'm curious to see on that how that goes. But I feel like out of all the cars outside of the Ranger that I've talked about in this video, the Accord probably has the highest chance of breaking mainstream. While the TRD Camry's in a really good position, and obviously the Corolla and 3 are in even better positions than the Camry, I feel like the Accord, just being the Accord, is going to be what shoots it in the mainstream. And Honda's just, dominated for years in terms of really good development on their economy cars to make them really good platforms for building. I mean, that's why cars like the Civic became mainstream, the outside of the SI and Type R, obviously. So I'm curious to see how these cars are going to go. I think the Accord's probably got the best chance of going mainstream, but anyway, that's all the cars I want to talk about. So if you guys want to see a part 2 where I can say, hey, now Michael in on this, we can try to bring in, even more cars that they think are going to be the next big thing, and I can try to find more cars to talk about for myself. Obviously stuff like the Jetta, I could talk about the Jetta, I could talk about, all these other cars. I could bring up the Avalon TRD because I feel like a lot of people are going to ask about that since I brought up the Camry in this video. So if you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments. If you guys want to see a part 2 to this video with the guys probably over Discord because, social distancing. And we can do that for you guys. So, all that said, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Be sure to like, subscribe for more content coming soon. We got the headlight builds coming next week for you guys. Hope you guys are going to enjoy those series as well. Stay safe out there, guys. Keep yourself safe. Keep yourself clean. Wash your hands, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a good one, everyone.